Admiral Catherine Morrison stood motionless before the massive holographic display in the UN Space Command's Strategic Operations Center, her weathered hands clasped behind her back. 27 years of military service hadn't prepared her for this moment. No simulation, no war game, no theoretical exercise could have captured the sheer magnitude of what she was witnessing. They began appearing just past lunar orbit, massive vessels teardropping into normal space in perfect formation. Their hulls gleamed with an otherworldly iridescence that made them look like oil slicks against the stars. First hundreds, then thousands, until 10,000 alien warships hung in Earth's sky like a second night. "Status report," Morrison demanded, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. Colonel James Rodriguez, her tactical officer, spoke without taking his eyes off his console. "Orbital defense grid is online. But, ma'am, these ships are massive. The smallest one is twice the size of our largest carrier. Energy readings are off the charts." Morrison nodded slightly. "And our visible fleet. All 47 ships accounted for and in defensive formation. Hardly a mosquito swarm compared to what we're looking at." A thin smile crossed Morrison's face. 47 ships. That's what the hegemony could see. That's what they were meant to see. The massive hologram flickered as every communication channel on Earth, military, civilian, digital, and analog, was simultaneously overridden. A figure appeared, humanoid but wrong in subtle ways that sent shivers down even Morrison's spine. Its voice resonated with artificial perfection. "People of Earth, we are the hegemony of allied species. Your isolation ends today. Your technology has been evaluated. Your military capabilities have been assessed. Your potential for violence has been calculated. The hegemony cannot permit unregulated species to maintain independent military forces or governance. You will submit to hegemony protection and oversight. You will surrender your armed forces. You will accept our guidance. You have 72 of your hours to comply. Resistance will be met with eradication." The message repeated in every human language simultaneously. Morrison watched the panic unfold on the secondary displays. Stock markets crashing, social media exploding, crowds gathering in cities worldwide. But her attention was focused on something else: the subtle patterns in the hegemony's fleet formation. Rodriguez analyzed their deployment. "What do you see?" The colonel studied the hologram. Classic shock and awe positioning. Maximum visible coverage of population centers. They're arranged to look as intimidating as possible from the ground. Morrison's smile widened slightly. "And what does that tell you?" "They care about psychological impact. They'd want to be seen." "There?" Rodriguez's eyes widened. "They're showing off." "Exactly." Morrison turned to face the assembled command staff. "They're trying to scare us into submission, which means they don't want to fight, which means they're not as invincible as they want us to think." She strode to the central console and entered her command codes. "Initialize Operation Scattered Thunder. Transmit quantum encrypted activation codes to all Ghost Fleet commanders. Tell them to maintain quantum cloak but begin moving into position, and get me a secure line to the Security Council." As her orders were carried out, Morrison studied the alien fleet again. Their ships were beautiful in their terrible perfection. Their technology was centuries ahead of what humanity publicly displayed. Their numbers were overwhelming, but they had made 3 critical mistakes. They had assumed Earth's visible military was its only military. They had given humanity time to prepare rather than striking immediately. Most importantly, they had demanded that a species of warriors kneel. "Message from the Security Council, ma'am. They're awaiting your assessment." Morrison straightened her uniform. "Tell them I'll be there in 5 minutes. And Rodriguez, begin passive quantum scans of their fleet. I want to know every weakness, every blind spot, every gap in their formation. In 72 hours, we're going to give the hegemony a lesson in human nature." She walked toward the briefing room, her footsteps echoing with purpose. The hegemony thought they were dealing with a primitive species that would surrender in the face of superior numbers. They were about to learn that humanity had turned hiding its true strength into an art form. Deep beneath Europa's ice, Captain Maya Williams watched her quantum-cloaked dreadnought, the UES Shadow Strike, power up its systems. Similar scenes played out across the solar system as humanity's real fleet awakened. The Ghost Fleet wasn't just ships. It was 30 years of humanity's greatest deception. Status report, Williams commanded, watching holographic readouts shimmer in the darkened bridge. Quantum cloak stable at 99.8%, her XO reported. Even their advanced sensors read us as nothing more than background radiation. The rest of Battle Group Europa is synchronized and awaiting orders. Williams nodded, remembering Admiral Morrison's words from the encrypted quantum burst transmission. Let them think they see all our cards. Let them think we're weak. The best trap is the one your enemy walks into willingly. Above Mars, Commander David Chen's battle group used the planet's magnetic field to mask their power signatures. The asteroid belt concealed Admiral Hassan's carriers. And in high Earth orbit, directly between the gaps in the hegemony's formation, Colonel Sarah Martinez's Rapid Response Force waited, invisible, watching. The hegemony's massive ships continued their intimidation display, their energy weapons purposefully visible, their shields shimming with barely contained power. Their arrogance was palpable even across the void. New transmission from the hegemony, Williams' communications officer announced. They're critiquing our visible fleet, calling our ships charming attempts at space warfare, and suggesting immediate surrender would prevent unnecessary embarrassment. A quiet chuckle rippled through the bridge. The hegemony was scanning Earth's deliberately obsolete defensive ships, retrofitted cargo haulers, and outdated patrol craft that had been maintained specifically for this deception. Williams opened a secure channel to Admiral Morrison. Ghost Fleet Battle Group Europa, ready for Phase 1. Similar reports flooded in from across the solar system. Morrison's voice came through with crystalline clarity, thanks to quantum entanglement communications that the hegemony didn't even know were possible. Begin Operation Shadow Dance, Morrison commanded. Let's show them our first card, but just one. Williams smiled. Acknowledged. Shadow Strike. Prepare for precision jump. Target. Asteroid Belt Sector 7. The massive dreadnought's quantum drive spooled up, its revolutionary technology allowing it to traverse space in ways the hegemony thought impossible. Traditional faster-than-light travel left energy signatures. Quantum jumping didn't just move through space, it stepped sideways through probability itself. Jump in 3, 2, 1. Reality twisted. For a microsecond, the shadow strike existed in multiple quantum states simultaneously. Then it materialized exactly where a hegemony scout ship was conducting its arrogant survey of humanity's primitive space capabilities. The alien vessel's sensors registered the shadow strike too late. A single quantum-phase torpedo. Technology that humanity had hidden for decades passed through the scout's shields as if they didn't exist. The explosion was visible from Earth, a brief flash that looked like nothing more than a meteor impact. Target eliminated, Williams reported. No distress signal. Their main fleet hasn't noticed. Morrison's voice carried a hint of satisfaction. Excellent. Battle Group Mars, you're next. Pick your target. Make it look like an accident. Across the solar system, humanity's hidden fleet began moving with surgical precision. Each strike eliminated isolated hegemony ships, staging the deaths to look like equipment malfunctions or navigational errors. The aliens' overconfidence worked against them. They were so certain of their superiority that they weren't even looking for attacks. In the UN Space Command Center, Morrison watched the hegemony's formation slowly, imperceptibly weaken. Every lost scout ship, every destroyed sensor platform created another blind spot. The aliens still thought they were dealing with primitive humans who would soon surrender. They didn't realize they were already caught in humanity's web. 63 hours until their deadline, Rodriguez noted. Morrison nodded. Time for Phase 2. Let's show them what happens when you back humanity into a corner. Signal all Ghost Fleet commanders. Operation Nightmare begins in 12 hours. The hegemony had demanded Earth's surrender. Instead, they were about to experience humanity's defiance. One quantum-cloaked ship at a time. The hegemony's supreme commander, Vorkath, stood before his command display with 6 arms clasped behind his back, mandibles twitching in anticipation. The deadline was approaching, and the primitives had yet to surrender. Their pathetic fleet of 47 ships remained in their defensive formation, while their leaders bickered in their United Nations Assembly. Supreme Commander, his tactical officer called out, "We're detecting unusual radiation fluctuations throughout the fleet." Vorkath dismissed the concern with a wave. "Local star activity. These humans cannot even properly shield their sensors. Their technology is centuries behind." The space around his command ship erupted. Reality itself seemed to tear open as the UES Defiance materialized less than a kilometer from his flagship's bridge. Admiral Morrison stood on her command deck, watching the massive alien vessel through quantum-enhanced viewing ports. "All Ghost Fleet units," she commanded, her voice carrying across quantum-encrypted channels. "Execute Operation Nightmare. Show them what humanity's been hiding." Across the hegemony's formation, space rippled and tore. Hundreds of quantum ships dropped their cloaks simultaneously, appearing at precisely calculated weak points. The hegemony's perfect formation became their perfect trap. Multiple hostile contacts. Vorkath's tactical officer screamed. Impossible energy readings. Their weapons air. Quantum phase torpedoes struck 50 hegemony ships simultaneously. The aliens watched in horror as their supposedly impenetrable shields were bypassed completely. The careful deception of decades paid off as humanity revealed their true technological capabilities. "Second wave, engage," Morrison ordered. "Activate the Nexus Protocol." The quantum drives of Earth's ships synchronized, creating artificial gravity wells throughout the hegemony fleet. Alien vessels were pulled out of formation, their own mass turned against them. What had appeared to be an overwhelming force became scattered clusters of isolated targets. Commander Chen's Mars battle group struck from below, their ships performing maneuvers that the hegemony's tactical computers classified as physically impossible. Captain Williams' Europa force attacked from above, their quantum weapons causing localized reality distortions that turned hegemony energy shields into explosive liabilities. "Status report," Vorkath demanded as his flagship shuddered under another impact. "We've lost contact with 30% of the fleet. Their weapons, they're not just bypassing our shields, they're using our shield frequencies to amplify the damage. Every defensive measure we take makes their attacks more effective." Morrison's voice cut across all frequencies, broadcast in the hegemony's own language. "You demanded we kneel. You thought our visible fleet was all we had. You believed your technology was superior. Let me explain your mistakes." The Defiance's quantum drive pulsed, and the massive ship seemed to exist in multiple locations simultaneously, each version firing weapons that struck from impossible angles. Humanity learned long ago that true strength lies in what your enemy doesn't know you possess. Every primitive rocket launch hid a quantum technology test. Every failed satellite deployment concealed a weapons platform. We didn't just prepare for your arrival. We counted on your arrogance. Vorkath watched in disbelief as his carefully arranged formation dissolved into chaos. The humans were everywhere and nowhere, their ships appearing and disappearing like ghosts, each strike precisely calculated for maximum effect. "Tactical," he barked. "Order all ships tow." "Sir, we've lost control of the fleet's targeting systems. Something's infiltrating our network. It's already been inside our computers." Morrison allowed herself a small smile. "Did you think we showed you our real digital capabilities? Those cybersecurity vulnerabilities you detected, we left them there for you to find. The real attack vectors, you never saw them." The UES Defiance appeared directly in front of Vorkath's bridge, its quantum weapons charged and ready. Behind it, the Ghost Fleet emerged from cloak and attack formation, their hulls bristling with technology that humanity had spent decades keeping secret. Now then, Morrison's voice carried a steel edge. Should we discuss new terms? Lazarus Protocol is in effect. Commander Chen announced from the bridge of the UES Phantom Dawn. All ships, execute shadow dance maneuvers. Make them chase ghosts. The battle for Earth's solar system had evolved into something the hegemony's tactical computers couldn't comprehend. Their massive fleet, now fragmented and confused, found themselves fighting an enemy that seemed to violate the laws of physics themselves. 3 hegemony dreadnoughts converged on what appeared to be an isolated Earth vessel. The human ship, apparently crippled and venting atmosphere, drifted helplessly. As the alien vessels moved in for the kill, their sensors detected a power spike. Quantum signature expanding. Chen's tactical officer reported with a grin. They took the bait. The crippled ship suddenly split into 5 quantum echoes, each one dropping an antimatter charge as they phased out of normal space. The hegemony ships, their weapons trained on where the human vessel had been, found themselves at the center of a carefully orchestrated trap. The explosion was visible from Mars. Admiral Morrison watched the tactical display from the Defiance, now coordinating the solar system-wide battle that was becoming a masterclass in human ingenuity. Status of Operation Checkmate. Battle Group Europa reports success. Rodriguez responded. Captain Williams' forces drew 3 hegemony battle groups into the asteroid field. They're about to learn why you don't follow a quantum-capable fleet into confined spaces. The tactical display highlighted the asteroid field, where Williams' ships were performing what would have been suicide maneuvers in conventional spacecraft. The Ghost Fleet vessels quantum shifted through solid asteroids, leaving behind proximity mines and reality distortion charges. The pursuing hegemony ships, bound by normal physics, found themselves in a deadly labyrinth of their own making. Hegemony Command is attempting to regroup, Colonel Martinez reported from her Rapid Response Force. They're falling back to standard formation Delta 7, just as the historical simulations predicted. Morrison nodded. The hegemony's rigid battle doctrine, developed over centuries of overwhelming victory, had become their greatest weakness. Every tactical response was catalogued, every strategy predetermined. They fought like a machine. Efficient but utterly predictable. Launch Operation Broken Mirror, Morrison commanded. Show them why humanity's greatest strength is our ability to improvise. Across the battlefield, Earth's ships began executing maneuvers that seemed random to the hegemony's tactical eye. Quantum drives activated in synchronized patterns, creating gravitational distortions that bent weapons' fire back at the ships that launched them. Human vessels appeared to sacrifice themselves, only to quantum shift at the last second, leaving behind temporal charges that trapped hegemony ships in localized time distortions. Supreme Commander Vorkath is attempting to coordinate a counterattack, Rodriguez reported, monitoring quantum-intercepted communications. They're deploying their elite Guardian units. Perfect. Morrison's smile was predatory. Signal Admiral Hassan. Begin Phase 2 of the Lazarus Protocol. The Guardian units, the hegemony's most advanced ships, moved to engage what they believed to be Earth's command vessels. Instead, they found themselves facing quantum echoes, holographic projections given substance by carefully controlled gravitational fields. The real attack came from directly above, where Hassan's carriers had used the sun's radiation to mask their approach. Tactical analysis confirms it, Rodriguez announced. The hegemony's losing over 60% of engagements. Their predictive combat algorithms can't adapt to our quantum warfare tactics. Morrison watched as another hegemony battle group fell into disarray, their formations breaking under attacks that came from impossible angles. Earth's deception had been perfect. Decades of hiding their true capabilities, presenting an image of primitive spaceflight, while developing technologies that the hegemony had never imagined possible. Send word to all Ghost Fleet commanders, Morrison ordered. Prepare for the killing stroke. It's time to show the hegemony why you never demand submission from a species that turned warfare into an art form. The hegemony's diplomatic AI, designation UNIT-7, had processed countless species' behavioral patterns over its millennium of operation. Its quantum processors calculated responses, predicted actions, and manipulated civilizations with perfect precision. But now, for the first time, it was experiencing what organics would call confusion. Observation. Human response patterns deviate from all known models, it reported to Supreme Commander Vorkath. Recommended strategy. Exploit historical conflicts, offering preferential treatment to major powers. United States, China, Russia. Probability of success based on past species responses, 99.9%. The AI dispatched its carefully crafted messages, offering each nation special status within the hegemony, protection from their rivals, and advanced technology. The response came within minutes, but not from individual nations. Admiral Morrison's face appeared on every hegemony command ship's display simultaneously. Behind her stood the leaders of Earth's most powerful nations, united in an unprecedented show of solidarity. "Let me explain something about humanity," Morrison began, her voice carrying the weight of every human civilization that had faced extinction and survived. "We fight. We scheme. We compete. But we learned long ago that divided, we fall. United, we are unstoppable." Across Earth's orbit, civilian ships were transforming. Cargo haulers revealed hidden weapon mounts. Satellite networks reconfigured into defensive grids. Mining vessels deployed quantum-enhanced drill cores as improvised weapons. Every human vessel, military or civilian, moved with coordinated purpose. "Your AS calculations fail to account for one crucial factor," Morrison continued. "Every war game we've run, every military exercise we've conducted, included scenarios for this exact moment. We've spent centuries preparing not just our technology, but our unity." Humanity 7 processed this new data, its certainty wavering. Alert. Detecting massive power signatures from Earth's lunar colonies. The moon's surface seemed to ripple as hidden installations activated. Quantum cannons, concealed beneath decades of legitimate mining operations, emerged from their camouflage. The hegemony fleet's tactical display bloomed with thousands of new threats as humanity's full defensive network came online. "Impossible," Vorkath muttered. "Their public space programs, their visible technology, was exactly what we wanted you to see," Morrison finished. "Every nation playing their part, every public rivalry masking secret cooperation. While you watched us launch primitive rockets, we were testing quantum technology. While you monitored our space stations, we were building fleet carriers inside asteroids." The hegemony watched in growing horror as Earth's true military capability revealed itself. Chinese space stations linked with American defense platforms, Russian quantum satellites synchronized with European weapon systems, Japanese cyber warfare suites integrated with Indian defense networks. Decades of apparent international competition had been masking the greatest cooperative military project in human history. "Sir," a hegemony tactical officer reported, "human civilian vessels are transforming. Their hulls contain metamaterials we can't scan. Every ship in their system is combat capable." Morrison's smile was cold. "Did you think we would leave our civilian fleet defenseless? Every commercial ship captain is a reserve military officer. Every trading vessel has hidden military specs. We turned our entire civilization into a weapon, hidden in plain sight." Humanity 7 attempted to process this new paradigm, its predictions shattering against human ingenuity. Strategic analysis failure. Unable to calculate response. Human unity exceeds all known parameters. "You tried to divide us," Morrison declared, Earth's combined fleet moving into attack formation behind her. "Instead, you gave us a common enemy. Every nation, every ship, every human being in this solar system is now focused on a single goal. Would you like to know what that goal is?" The hegemony's massive fleet, already battered by the Ghost Fleet's quantum warfare, now found itself surrounded by an armed civilization that had spent centuries preparing for this moment. Humanity does not kneel, Morrison stated. Humanity stands. Together. Now shall we continue your education in human nature. In a quantum-shielded chamber deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Marcus Reynolds watched his team of cyber warfare specialists execute humanity's digital masterpiece. Decades of seemingly random cyber attacks between nations have been carefully orchestrated practice for this moment. Quantum intrusion protocols active. His lead analyst reported, fingers dancing across holographic interfaces. Operation Digital Phantom is go. Reynolds opened a secure channel to the UES Defiance. Admiral Morrison, Cyber Warfare Division is ready. The hegemony's about to learn why Earth's hackers are feared even by their own governments. Morrison's voice carried a note of anticipation. Execute at will, Doctor. Show them what humanity's digital demons can do. The first strike was subtle. A cascading series of quantum-encrypted signals that appeared to be normal background radiation. The hegemony's advanced AI systems processed and dismissed them as irrelevant data, unknowingly incorporating the deadly payload into their core systems. Sir, a hegemony communications officer called out to Vorkath. Our auxiliary networks are experiencing anomalies. Human entertainment broadcasts are bleeding through our tactical displays. The massive screens on the hegemony command ship flickered, then began showing footage from Earth's military history. The Battle of Thermopylae, the crossing of the Delaware, the charge of the Light Brigade, carefully selected moments of humanity's defiance against overwhelming odds. Shut it down, Vorkath commanded, his mandibles clicking in agitation. But it was already too late. Reynolds' team had spent years studying the quantum signatures of hegemony probe ships, developing viruses that could penetrate their supposedly impregnable systems. Now those viruses awakened, spreading through the alien fleet's neural networks like digital wildfire. Phase 2, Reynolds ordered. Initiate Project Babel. The hegemony's unified communication network splintered. Each ship began receiving different orders, their translation matrices corrupted by quantum algorithms that turned every command into confusion. Targeting systems identified friendly ships as enemies. Navigation computers plotted collision courses instead of evasive maneuvers. We've lost control of the primary command network. Unity 7 reported, its artificial voice showing stress patterns for the first time in its existence. Human quantum code is evolving. It's rewriting our base protocols faster than we can purge it. Morrison's voice echoed through every hegemony ship, their communication security rendered meaningless by Earth's cyber assault. Your artificial intelligence is impressive, but it's predictable. Our hackers don't just think outside the box. They deny the existence of the box entirely. Reynolds watched as his team's quantum viruses bored deeper into the alien fleet's systems. Weapon systems targeted their own ships. Shield generators cycled randomly, leaving vessels vulnerable at crucial moments. Even the mighty Unity 7 found itself drowning in chaos as contradictory data streams overwhelmed its quantum processors. This is impossible, Vorkath snarled. Their technological level, their primitive networks, were a facade. Reynolds cut in, his voice joining Morrison's on the compromised channels. Every cyber attack between human nations was a test run. Every computer virus we created was practice. We turned our whole civilization into a digital weapon, waiting for the moment someone like you would underestimate us. The hegemony's mighty warships, their systems compromised and their coordination shattered, began firing on each other. Quantum-corrupted targeting systems couldn't distinguish friend from foe. Their own automated defense platforms turned against them, controlled by human cyber warfare specialists who had spent their entire careers preparing for this moment. Admiral, Reynolds reported, Operation Digital Phantom is complete. Their fleet's neural network is ours. Their AI is compromised. Their command structure is in chaos. Morrison's response was cold satisfaction. Excellent work, Doctor. Now let's show them the true meaning of human ingenuity. All Ghost Fleet units, prepare for Operation King's Fall. It's time to deliver the killing stroke. The hegemony was about to learn that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their quantum ships or hidden fleets. It was the creative chaos that lived in every human mind. Admiral Morrison stood on the bridge of the UES Defiance, watching the tactical display as Operation King's Fall entered its final phase. The hegemony fleet, their command structure in shambles from the cyber assault, had fallen back into defensive formations around their remaining command ships. It was exactly what she had anticipated. "All Ghost Fleet commanders, synchronize quantum drives," she ordered. "Prepare for simultaneous phase shift. Target coordinates are locked. We strike at their heart." Captain Williams' voice came through the quantum-encrypted channel. "Admiral, Shadow Strike Battle Group is in position. The hegemonies try to adapt their shields to our previous attacks. They think they're ready for us." Morrison's smile was fierce. "Then let's show them something new. Execute Formation Hydra." Across the solar system, Earth's quantum-capable ships activated their advanced drives in perfect synchronization. The laws of physics seemed to bend as hundreds of vessels existed in multiple states simultaneously, creating a quantum web that encompassed the entire hegemony fleet. Supreme Commander Vorkath, watching from his flagship's command center, felt something he hadn't experienced in 3 centuries of warfare. Fear. Multiple quantum signatures. His tactical officer shouted, "They're everywhere and nowhere. Our sensors can't lock onto their real positions." "Impossible," Vorkath snarled. "No species can maintain quantum uncertainty at this scale. The energy requirements alone." His words cut off as the UES Defiance materialized inside his flagship's shields, less than a kilometer from the bridge. But it wasn't alone. Every hegemony command ship found itself facing a quantum-shifted Earth vessel that had bypassed their defenses completely. "You assumed we thought in 3 dimensions," Morrison's voice echoed through the compromised command channels. "That we were bound by conventional physics. That's the problem with species who rely on technological superiority. You forget that true innovation comes from necessity." The Ghost Fleet executed their synchronized attack. Quantum-phased weapons struck simultaneously across the hegemony formation, targeting command and control nodes that had been identified during the previous engagements. Each shot was precisely calculated, each target carefully chosen to create maximum chaos. "Admiral," Rodriguez reported from his tactical station, "hegemony command ships are losing power. Their quantum cores are going critical from feedback loops we created through their own shields." Commander Chen's battle group emerged from quantum shift behind the hegemony's secondary formation, catching them in a devastating crossfire. Captain Williams' forces struck from below, their weapons guided by targeting data gathered during hours of calculated retreat and feigned weakness. "Their formation is breaking." Martinez called out. "The command ships can't coordinate their defensive screens." Morrison watched as the mighty hegemony fleet, which had arrived with such overwhelming confidence, dissolved into chaos. Ships fired blindly at quantum echoes, their weapons passing harmlessly through holographic duplicates, while the real attacks came from impossible angles. "You demanded Earth's surrender," Morrison addressed Vorkath directly, her ship maintaining its position within his flagship's shields. "You thought your technology made you invincible. But humanity has faced extinction before. We've stared into the abyss of our own end and learned to turn fear into strength." The hegemony's remaining ships, cut off from central command and unable to coordinate their defenses, found themselves isolated and surrounded. Earth's quantum fleet moved like a single organism, each attack flowing seamlessly into the next, every strike calculated to exploit the vulnerabilities created by the previous one. "Final phase," Morrison commanded. "Show them the full power of human ingenuity." The Ghost Fleet's quantum drives pulsed in unison, creating a cascading wave of gravitational distortions that trapped the hegemony ships in a web of warped spacetime. Their mighty engines, trying to break free, only made the trap stronger. Supreme Commander Vorkath, watching his fleet's destruction through the quantum storm, finally understood. The species he had come to subjugate had already surpassed them in ways he couldn't comprehend. "Your terms," he said quietly. "Name them." The Grand Chamber of the United Nations had been modified for this historic moment. Representatives from every nation on Earth sat alongside holographic projections of colonial delegates from Mars, Europa, and the asteroid settlements. Supreme Commander Vorkath and the remaining hegemony leadership stood before them, their once proud postures now tempered by the humbling defeat they had experienced. Admiral Morrison, standing at the central podium, let the silence stretch for a moment before speaking. 3 days ago, you demanded Earth's surrender. You gave us 72 hours to kneel. Instead, we gave you a lesson in human nature that the galaxy won't soon forget. The hegemony's mighty fleet, now reduced to less than a third of its original strength, hung in orbit as a testament to humanity's defensive capabilities. Their remaining ships were surrounded by Earth's quantum-shifted vessels, the Ghost Fleet no longer hiding its true power. "Our terms are simple," Morrison continued. "First, Earth and all human colonies will be recognized as a fully independent sovereign territory. Any future diplomatic contact will be conducted as equals, not subjects." Vorkath's mandibles clicked in reluctant acknowledgement. His species understood the language of strength, and humanity had proven theirs beyond any doubt. Second, a full exchange of technology will commence. You thought us primitive. Now you'll learn what humanity can accomplish with access to galactic knowledge. In return, we'll share our quantum advancement under strict controls. The era of hoarding innovation ends today. Dr. Reynolds, standing among Earth's technical advisors, smiled as UNIT-7's quantum processors registered the implications. The AI had finally grasped that humanity's technological deception hadn't just been about military advantage. It had been about understanding the true nature of progress. Third, Morrison's voice carried across the chamber. Earth will take its place on the Galactic Council, not as a protectorate, but as a founding member of a new organization. The old hegemony ends today. In its place, we propose the Galactic Confederation, an alliance of equals bound by mutual respect and innovation. The chamber erupted in discussion. Human delegates conferred with their alien counterparts through quantum-enhanced translators. The hegemony representatives, their worldview shattered by Earth's resistance, found themselves considering possibilities they had never imagined. "You have shown us something unprecedented," Vorkath admitted, his translator conveying genuine amazement. "In 10,000 years of expansion, we had never encountered a species that could turn deception into an art form, unity into a weapon, and technological advancement into a shield." Morrison's expression softened slightly. "Because you never understood the true source of strength. It isn't about having the biggest fleet or the most advanced technology. It's about the spirit that drives us to look into the darkness of space and see not a void to fear, but a frontier to explore." Captain Williams, Commander Chen, and Colonel Martinez stood with their fellow officers, representatives of a military that had turned hiding its true capabilities into a strategic masterpiece. The Ghost Fleet ships glinted in orbit, no longer shadows but symbols of human ingenuity. "Let this be the lesson that echoes across the galaxy," Morrison declared. "Humanity does not bow to threats. We do not yield to intimidation. When faced with extinction, we rise. When commanded to kneel, we stand. And when challenged to submit, we reveal the full measure of our strength." The chamber rose in unified approval. Earth's nations, colonial representatives, and even the hegemony delegates recognized the dawn of a new era in galactic history. The stars themselves seemed to shine brighter, illuminating the path forward for a civilization that had proven itself ready for the cosmic stage. "The document is prepared," Morrison concluded. "The choice is yours, Supreme Commander. Sign as equals or leave as defeated foes. Either way, humanity's place among the stars is no longer in question." Vorkath stepped forward, his species' pride giving way to wisdom earned through defeat. "We choose equality," he said, "and hope to learn from those who taught us the true meaning of strength." The galaxy would never forget the day Earth was demanded to kneel, and showed the stars what it meant to stand.